Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, welcome. My name's Jem, and I hope you're all having a lovely day because today we're building this beautiful tropical beach oasis. So we start off by building 2 palm trees, and for the shape, I basically just build a few blocks up and then a block out and repeat the process to create the palm tree trunk shape. And then I add a couple jungle logs on the end to create branches as a sort of base for me to be able to place leaves on. And I created sort of an arch shape with the leaves and then added a couple extra leaf blocks on the ends to kind of make the palm tree leaves look a little more droopy like they would in real life. And then after that, I decided to add a few more jungle logs to the tree trunk to kind of make the tree trunk shape a little thicker than it might normally be in real life, but I really like how that turned out. And I haven't spent too much time building palm trees, so I'm really proud of this, and it was a lot of fun to experiment with. I decided to kind of change around a few leaves before moving on to the next tree. So again, same process here, building a few blocks up and then a block out, except this time I decided to create the thicker tree trunk shape as I went along instead of changing it at the end. And so again, same situation, adding a couple blocks to serve as branches as a sort of starting point for me to create the leaf shapes that I wanted. And you can kind of have fun with it. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the more you practice making trees, the better idea you have for what sort of shape you want to make. And it does get easier with practice, but I know it's hard at first. So then I made a sort of natural shape for a pond, and I surrounded the pond area with grass blocks because whenever there's water in real life, the area around it tends to be a little more lush and have a little bit more flora, so that's what I wanted to simulate here. And adding some more depth to the pond before covering it with moss blocks, coarse dirt, rooted dirt, and I also added some of those blocks to the kind of shoreline of the pond as well, so that you can really see the sort of lush vibe I was going for in the pond. I also went with a bold move of adding orange concrete, and although that might not be the most realistic, I really like how it turned out, and that's the great thing about Minecraft, is that you can build how you want to build. I also added some packed mud blocks to add another brown texture at the bottom of the pond, and I really like that choice as well. I also added some depth and texture to the sand by adding some sandstone and sandstone stairs, and I kind of placed them in random rotations going around the beach. And there are some other things you can do to add texture, like maybe some birch buttons or something like that, but that is what I decided to do for the beach, just kind of doing that quickly. I also then added some coral to the pond and some sea pickles and seagrass, and the seagrass in particular really helped the pond feel a lot more alive and lush, which I really love. And then I decided to add some vines on the ends of many of the leaves, and that helped to create an even more overhanging and droopy kind of look for these palm leaves. And you can just place a couple blocks under them, place the leaves, and then break the blocks that you placed. In order to do that, I then add a little more pond decor with azalea bushes, grass, flowers, and some arrangements of melon blocks to add some cute details. And as you can see, I put a lot of detail into the pond itself because that is sort of a focal point for this build. And then adding a little more interest to the trees themselves, I added some spruce buttons, fence gates, and stairs. And I think adding the spruce stairs to some of the undersides of some of the logs and at the base of the trees really helped to define the shape of those palm trees. I then added some stone buttons to kind of look like little rocks or pebbles, but I didn't want too much gray in this build because I wanted everything to be very bright and warm. So I tried to keep the stone buttons to a minimum. I then made a little umbrella out of some birch fences and light gray and white carpets and wool, and I also placed the carpets on string, but if you have access to creative, barriers could work too. It's just so that you can't really see what the carpets are being placed on. That way it looks like they are floating so that you can have a proper looking umbrella. I added some beach towels with some snow and white carpets, and lastly added some decorative heads. And if you have access to command blocks, you can do this. Otherwise, everything else in this build is completely survival friendly. I got the heads from minecraft-heads.com. If you're interested, that's where you can get the commands for it. And that's it. I hope you liked this build as much as I loved building it. And I will see you guys in the next video. If you liked this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye!